Hey guys, my name is Justin and welcome to Healthboro, where we care about the design behind designer luxury. And if you do too, make sure to subscribe. Alright, so for today's video, I was really not gonna do a video about this because I'm like, oh, whatever, you know. It's something that happens like often enough, and it's like recently they've been like, I think people have said they're disappointing, or at least I said that. But I wanted to talk about the H&M Mugler collab that's coming out, I think in May. They call it a music video. To me, it's just like a teaser of like the collection. Hey, so future Justin, so in between the time that I filmed that video and when this video is coming out, some of the prices dropped thanks to a British website. God, wait, no, that's not British. But really quickly, I wanted to kind of sneak in some of these prices and kind of talk about them. So the prices that you're seeing on screen when we talk about this video are going to be in Great British Pounds or sterling pounds or something like that. I don't know, whatever the UK uses for money. So I did quick currency exchanges, so you'll see it in US dollars, but please keep in mind that like oftentimes like the European market versus the UK versus America, they do different price levels in a way, so I wouldn't be surprised if the prices were a little bit more expensive in the US. So what you're seeing, I would probably bump it up between like $5, $25, maybe even $50 for some of the high ticket items, maybe even more. It just kind of depends. Also, for some of this collection, the prices haven't dropped, so some of the things just aren't gonna have prices, but you know, you'll get there when you get there. Okay, back to Past Me. And I like watched it once, and I was like, oh, that was fun. Was really good. And then I watched it again, and then I watched it again, and then I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm cool. And then the next day I watched it again like a couple more times, and then I just watched it like, I don't know, for some reason I like hyperfixated on this. I'm like, oh my god, give me more. I just wanted to like talk about it, and maybe we can see like details that are kind of hard to see, or maybe compare it to even some of the things that are currently out now. So needless to say, I'm very excited to talk about this with you. First, before we dive into this video, there's like a H&M magazine, like an internal not internal magazine, but like a, might as well be, because I don't know who reads this, but I'm just kidding. I'm gonna take this off because this is annoying. Also, I realized that I like wear this piece of jewelry in videos that I look down a lot, and that's why it's so annoying. So there's that. So Casey Cadwallader, who's led the brand as creative director since 2018, has designed a dramatic and empowering collection that celebrates freedom, self-expression, and diversity, featuring a mix of stunning new pieces and signature Mugler looks, including several archive remakes. So that's interesting. And then, okay, so I know I was like, I don't understand what the song is. It's like a, I guess you could call it a cover. Amare, Shy Girl, Earth Eater, and Arca did it over Music Sounds Better With You. So that's cute. I like it. It says they like are happy to celebrate the legacy of Manfred Thierry Mugler. So I think that's really nice. I just think some of these last collaborations have been a little bit more like, oh, let's just like do something fun and whatever. And maybe I'm not right about this, but like I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to pull out like archive pieces and really go into like the brand's heritage and like iconography and looking at the house codes and like seeing how they can be done in a more like accessible way. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of making fashion, especially like designer luxury fashion, like as accessible as possible. And like while I'm not a huge fan of H&M because of just in general their practices, I do like that they do this around every year or so, because it's one way to kind of like democratize this typically elitist and exclusionary kind of like community and like industry, and like to be able to like bring people in who maybe weren't able to do it so much. That being said, like the prices are never like amazingly affordable, but still it's like getting something for $100 instead of $500 or $700. That's great. So already we have Shy Girl in the middle. I'm not familiar with anyone else besides Arca, just so you know. But already, okay, hold on, let me like stop talking so much and like actually do what I said I was gonna do and like take a closer look at some stuff. Already we're seeing camera work similar to like actually both of the recent like Casey Cadwallader like runway exhibitions or whatever. I don't know, I feel like this camera work is made for like social media, like it's made for TikTok or like Instagram or whatever, so it's very like quick and it slows down for like a second, so you just get to see the stuff for a little bit. So it's gonna be a little bit of a ride. It's covered by headphones, but like take a look at these earrings. So it's the Mugler star, like the one that you see on like the perfume bottles and stuff like that, with a like a metallic drop coming from it. I love that they're using like the star as a piece of jewelry. Looking at the ear, we see another Mugler earring, but then what I find interesting is like we have that like teardrop, but then it's like inverted. It kind of reminds me of like, if you remember Tiffany and Co, they did a collaboration in like the aughts with Frank Gehry, and there was a form used in jewelry called like the fish or something like that, and this kind of reminds me of it. Like I know it's just like a water drop, but like the way that the bend is happening, it just reminds me of that. But I love this, like, it's not a choker, and especially if you have a thinner neck, it's not gonna read as a choker, but I love the idea of like this really like heavy metal kind of like jewelry piece. I think it's so nice. I want that. Watch all this stuff be like more expensive than the recent collabs, because like, I don't know, inflation or whatever, like that's gonna be disappointing. Also, I love that this person's has like these like chromed out nails. Arca looks amazing as always. The rest of this video is so fast and so quick. I feel like let's take advantage of what we see right now. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that belt with the giant M. It reminds me of that like belt from SpongeBob. That, what's his name, Mermaid Man or whatever? And he has like the big M on his belt, and then you flip it upside down, it's like, it's for Wumbo!
Patrick, I don't think Wumbo
That's
is
like
a
the
real
energy
word.
I'm getting. Other than that, I love that look. Like the spiral jeans, but with the black inset, but then it's a straight leg instead of it being like skinny, like clinging to the body. I think these are great. I think maybe they're not as flattering as the ones that like are really like, they suck to your body. Like, I think most of the jeans do, but I love these. Oh, if they made them in all denim, I would also want those. I mean, I want these ones too. Oh my god, I'm really excited about this, you guys. If I don't get anything, I'm gonna be very sad. But then, of course, on Shy Girl and the person on the right, already like the whole idea of like the sheer plus the black to create different shapes of opacity on the body. Very sensual. You're following the lines of the body. Yeah, it's very sexy. I think it's like, it's very sexy. There's something about these shapes and these like organic curves that are very hyper feminine in a way, but not in like the traditional, like, I don't know, whatever society says. See, I don't know about that big belt, y'all. That's a little much. I just love that they just like rip open the backdrop. I don't know, they've had real leather at H&M collaborations before, and it's like decently affordable, so maybe some of these, the jacket and these pants are also. I love that they're introducing like body jewelry too. That jacket is very boxy. I don't think it's real leather. It's not falling like it, at least. Or if it is, maybe it's just like a super thin one. The leather jacket cropped in the front, and then it goes down to more of like a normal length on the back. But then you can see in between their legs, there's a piece of like leather hanging, or like whatever, faux leather, whatever it ends up being. And it's coming from the jacket, and I love the idea of that. It kind of reminds me of like the totem like coat, scarf coat, or whatever it is, where it's like it has an attached scarf, but then this, it has like a piece of leather. Like, would I wrap that around my neck? I don't know, maybe actually, make it a hood. Oh, interesting, look at that. A skirt, so it sits at maybe like the normal waist, and then it drops down to become low rise, like at the pelvis. There's like a little belt buckle that's kind of like a trapezoid. I don't know, it's weird, because you see like a lot of curves, but then you have like this jacket that's very like architectural. It has like almost pointed, like squared shoulders, and then you get a little bit of that squared on like the skirt piece. One thing I do have to note is that like, and it's with every single like H&M collab, but like the material quality is never going to be the same as from like the actual like luxury house deliveries. But like the fact that you can already see like the M belt, I don't know if it's part of the skirt or if it's a separate belt, but it's already kind of like drooping forward, to me is like not boding well for like some of these like chunkier pieces. And then I need this hoodie. So it's a hoodie that like the bagginess sits and the silhouette makes it look like it's a cropped hoodie, but then there's corsetting on the bottom of the hoodie that you like, when you zip it up, it reads as like being a corset. I love this piece. This is absolutely gonna sell very quickly, especially all of like the basic gays are still very into like corsetry and like this kind of like structured femininity on like the male body or on like a man's body. Okay, ignore this person looking straight into your soul. There's like a strap going on the front of their neck. I don't see a shirt under there, so part of me wants to assume that it's part of the jacket. And like when you put the jacket on, there's like either like some sort of closure or button or hook or something that you use to like make that line. There's a lot of like sexiness and sensuality when it comes to these pieces. If done wrong, it ends up looking kind of like BB. Do you remember BB? I don't know if it exists anymore. Sorry if it does. I just like watching this part. Just sliding on the floor. That's great. I want someone to like edit a banana peel there. So it's like, woo! Woo! It looks like this bra piece is also attached to like a sheer material. I don't think it's attached to like the sleeves, which I love the sleeves. It's just like a really long glove with that. And then you get that same strap. I will say I haven't talked about the shoes much because I do not like the shoes. We can see like the body jewelry. So it comes down from the neck and then it's just these layered chains. I'm not the biggest fan. Also like maybe there's something more in the details, but like I would love to see like little like the Mugler stars going down or something that feels more special instead of like, oh yeah, I just got this from Forever 21, like, you know, past weekend or whatever. I do like the structure of this like jacket. I like how squared the shoulders are. And I don't mind that it doesn't have a collar, but it doesn't feel very specially Mugler. And I kind of feel like a lot of like the men's pieces don't give the same energy that the women's ones do. But that's okay, because I'll just buy women's clothes. Something I wanted to point out really quick. We're gonna look at the front of this garment in like a hot second. It looks like there's kind of like this cropped jacket with like a sheer top with corsetry kind of details on it, and then maybe like a skirt, but I'm pretty sure it's not, because when we look at the front of it, it just is one jacket. And I love this. I love that Casey Cadwallader played with the proportions on things, where we have like this like very structural, like again, we see the rectangular, very kind of like pointy shoulders with like a full sleeve. So it feels like that mix of like femininity, masculinity, and then going into this sheer like hook and eye closure, kind of like, it's not actually corsetry, but like the lines are giving very much that kind of feeling, and then finishing it off with more blazer. You can tell the structure of it. It like curves in. I'm assuming that sheer material is also like stretchy, and then goes into like, it almost looks like an upside down tulip, you know, like it has that kind of roundness to really accentuate the curves of the body. This is a great piece. Not necessarily for me. And then we have to take a moment to talk about this jacket. So this jacket, it's like this very nice like powdery pink with a few like metallic details. You can see there's like a spike for, maybe it's one of the closures or just a detail on top of the closure, but then you see it on the cuffs. You see the two spikes coming out, but then the little like crosses made out of metal on like where the nipples would be with a chain connecting them. Come on, that's great. This to me is feeling almost more like an archive piece, because maybe it's the color or the cut of it or something like that. But like, I love the idea of like making this very like sexual thing. The nipple piercings with the chain connecting them. It's very much like, isn't there a scene in like Dude, Where's My Car where like the girl flashes them, or no, that's Rat Race or something. Like the girl flashes them. She has like a chain in between her nipples or something like that, and it's very that. Yeah, I used to watch movies like that. Again, we're seeing sheer bodysuits like following the curve of the body. Amazing. And then we have like a whole array of bodysuits. Oh, but then the top. Let's talk about this first person's top. How it's like the star pattern, like that distorted star, but then it's very like sparkly. And it has like the emo sleeve with like the thumb hole for it to keep it down. Always a fan of that. And then like seeing like that the pattern, maybe it's not exactly the same pattern, but the same kind of idea of a sheer with like sparkles going down the legs. I don't know, I'm just like in awe of this. I think this is great. I'm very excited. I'm not a huge fan of any of the pieces with like the color. Mine is like the blush pink one, like the powder pink one. I don't know, it feels kind of dated, doesn't it? Like it feels very like 2000s. We can see that there are going to be like color variations. I think we saw this dress in black and then also that green. And not my favorite. It just kind of is like a scarf dress. Although I just noticed now that like the long sleeves part of it ends in a glove, so that's fun. I love that. I would love to have something that like ends in a glove. I just think that's so weird. God. If you wear this out and you like spill something, then your hand's just wet, right? So then you just have one wet hand that you can't really dry very well. Or what if you go to the bathroom and you get pee on it? Do you just wash the fabric? Do you just not wipe with that side? I just don't understand the logistics of this. Can someone who's like has experience with this tell me what it's like? Or maybe I'll just buy something and then I'll wear it and then I'll be like, oh, okay, that was terrible. Or I don't know, maybe I'll be into it. You never know. Okay, I know I literally just talked about like not liking any things that have the colors, but A, the blue and black dress, love that. I'm assuming it's a dress, it might just be a top. She's covering her waist. But then this green, like the jacket and the pants, I love it. It is electric. It is very like, it's very shocking and almost like, yeah, it feels a little cheap, but kind of like in a good way, you know? And maybe it's also that there's like a black background, it's on a model with a deep skin tone, but like still, I think it's fantastic. I love that so much. Also, I really like these pants. I kind of want to like be a little slutty with them and like leave that completely uncovered. Like you can tell that they took the job of designing pieces very seriously, but then, I don't know, they still seem very fun. I think you have to have a good sense of humor when you're working with like a fast fashion brand in a way, you know, like you can't take yourself too seriously. But yeah, that was just like a quick look. I just wanted to point out some of the details that I've been noticing and I really liked about this like upcoming collab. So it releases on May 11th. With all of these H&M collabs, I never know if that means like the date midnight or the date like, and then there's like one time. If you guys know more about like what has been done or what will be happening this time, feel free to leave it in the comments because like this is something that is never really clear until like the day before or so, like maybe like a week before, and I get very anxious about it and I'm like have to assume that other people get anxious, especially for people who like are really into this collection and like want something from it. Okay, future Justin again. I promise this is the last time I'm gonna pop up and scare you. I don't think am I scary? I'm not scary. But yeah, so looking at the prices, it's not very surprising. Like if you look at some of the collaborations that have happened in the past, honestly, I feel like some of these prices are really good. Like the only like high ticket item are those like leather jackets, coats, whatever you want to call it, because they're actual leather, which I think that's really cool. It's amazing that they're able to find such a decent price point, especially with like cost of living is insane right now. And I think a lot of the people who are interested in this Mugler collab are going to be like young, maybe not as much disposable income as other people. So hopefully it means that we can enjoy having some of this collection. I mean, the sick thing for me is I'm going to be enjoying Beyonce on the day that this drops, so hopefully I'll be able to get some of it. Also, I'll be in like Stockholm, so I'll be in like the headquarters of H&M, so I'll try to go to the store, but honestly it's probably gonna be insane, so we'll just see what happens. Also, one interesting thing now that I've seen the lookbook is like, of course, in the music video, you see like that really like Mugler aesthetic. Like the definition of the house is very present, but you can also see like now that we have more of the pieces, it really is like the DNA of the house is very present. And I think that's super exciting that they're offering things that look authentically Mugler, not like some cheap knockoff kind of version that I think maybe some of the earlier collaborations, not early, but like some of the more recent collaborations have maybe felt a little bit. So I think it also still comes down to material, etc. I don't know, I'm probably going to talk about it in a second, so that's all I have to say for this. Back to me. But yeah, I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's like gonna be fun? Do you think those little details that I pointed out, where there might be some like gaps in like material quality, will make it not worth it? I still think like, I have a lot of stuff from different H&M collabs and they've lasted, even though like, you know, you think like, oh, it's just H&M. But I've had them for like upwards of 5 years at this point, so either way, I feel like it would still be a good investment, but I still want to hear from you guys. Other than that, that is all I have for you today. So if you liked this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and that you do care about the design behind designer luxury. Until next time, okay, I'm gonna put this in for you guys. Goodbye!
I wonder if a fall from this height would be enough to kill me.